I think there's two sets of twins shown in it.
And there's Veda and Ada.
Veda, yeah.
Veda never married. Veda, what did she do for a living? She was a house mother at Troy University for a long time, and then she worked for Mary Beard's downtown.
And she was at Montevallo as a house mother.
At Montevallo as a house mother.
But the most favorite memory I have is she worked in some sort of candy store. Was that Mary Beard's?
Mary Beard's, right.
And I was always going to visit her in the candy store because she'd give me free candy.
She'd give you anything.
Yep.
And then Veda was very proper.
Yes, very proper.
She reminded me of your dad a lot.
When she was at Montevallo, it was an all-girls school.
Yeah, at that
where
time.
the proper, adequate, and all that.
Yep.
But did Ada die at birth?
Very young.
And they had a son named Charles.
A whole bunch of kids.
And I don't know what happened.
Jimmy and Charles are deceased. Sarah is living in Jasper because she has some vision impairment. But I had hoped she'd be here today.
Well, Maud had 21 children, 21 grandchildren. We've lost them.
My brother and I was the beginning. And I always teased my brothers, my sisters, had I been a boy, they wouldn't have been here. Because my dad called me son all of my life. And I was never Martha. I was always son. Son, we're going to go squirrel hunting in the morning. Son, we're going to go fishing. I hated it. But I didn't dare say I hated it. You just didn't talk back to your parents. Son, when you get home from school, get off your school clothes, come to the cotton field. I hid in the woods. My dog came and got me, and my daddy found me, and I never hid in the woods again. So, Philip, tell your story. He came 13 years later. I was 13 when he was born. So, he thought I was the meanest sister in the world. He's told me that.
You weren't?
When she came home, she always made me take a nap. Nobody else made me take a nap. And for some reason, that just stuck with me. A mother, when she was at home, she would lay down. I didn't have a problem laying down on a pallet. And I wouldn't go to sleep. Well, when I woke up, everybody had been up for 2 hours. I had a long nap. But for some reason, Martha always thought a child needed a nap. Nobody else did. So I didn't like Martha for that reason. But if anybody listens to national news occasionally, it's been within the last 6 months. They talked about siblings. The firstborn IQ is usually 3 to 4 points higher than the second. Well, I'm number 7. So you do the math, and that's just the way it is. Martha's always been on the pinnacle, and I've been at the bottom.
To do when she graduated high school in 1932. So she said, well, I'll just get married and I'll just have 15 kids. Well, she was well on her way. We have one little brother that died. He was not stillborn, but he never breathed. And his name was David. My sister that's next to me, Laura, lives in Texas, and she has health problems. Laura Faye lives up in Tennessee, Flat Top Mountain, Tennessee. Fanny lives in Kentucky. Charlotte lives in Las Vegas, where you have to close and lock the gate every night before you go to bed. And Sarah Catherine lives in Texas, in Willis, it's between Houston and Huntsville, Texas, where they do the bad things.
Oh,
no, Waco was south of there. That's where the big prison is. That's sometimes I'd just like to see a brother or sister, you know, it would be nice. Let me tell you this, Patty called, Rhino's Patty, the oldest child of Rhino. She was so sorry she couldn't be here today. But she had gone to her daughter's house in Springville last weekend for Easter, because Patty has 2 grandsons now. So she couldn't come back from Florida for
All right.
I'm Richard Cobb, and this is my sister Barbara Cobb. We're the son and daughter of Jack Manley Cobb and mother Edith Cicero Cobb. She's from Coal Valley area, the Cicero family. My grandmother is, my father's mother is Irene Cobb, which was Irene Hickenbotham, and her mother is, I think if I'm correct, was an Earnest. Dora Earnest.
Oh, okay.
Thomas Hickenbotham and Dora Earnest.
Aunt Dory, I think my dad called her. Aunt Dory.
And go back to them, for them looks like it's going to be John Earnest and Catherine Davidson.
Okay.
If I got that correct.
Okay. Okay.
So that's about all I know of the history I have.
Well, that's
and
terrific.
I guess that's pretty good for my age.
Better than I can do.
That was a mouthful.
That was great.
Of course, your other siblings that Irene Hickenbotham had, which is Adeline Armstrong, which is deceased in Texas. Juanita Cobb is still in Texas. Willard Claude Cobb is in, he's deceased. His wife is living, Uncle Hale Cobb. Of course, my dad, actually Manley Jack Cobb, and Edith Cicero. We have Don Howell Cobb, he's in Texas. His wife is deceased. She was not from Alabama. We have Franklin D. Cobb, he's deceased, and he had a wife named Pat, I don't know her last name. And then there's Sue Cobb there.
It is a grandson.
It is a grandson. That's right.
Yeah, grandson.
Well, does anybody know Clay's wife says Myrtle Brown was, I can remember Mama talked about her brother being a famous baseball player. Have you heard that?
No.
Nobody's heard that? Well, I'm going to still say it's true.
Okay. Okay, that's all right. Make any claims that way.
Okay, so who else have we not talked about?
Land title attorney type. I think we call it a title attorney. And Craig is in Montgomery, and I guess he does chemistry work for the state of Alabama. He retired. He was a chemist for state of Alabama.
Georgia, I really don't know. I lost track of Georgia. I don't know what happened to her. But she had 2 grandchildren, Ernest and Daphne. Those 2 children, and I've lost track of them too. Ernest lives in Frisco, Texas. But I do know that Georgia died.
She was a writer too, wasn't she?
Yes, she was a writer. She's a published writer. And she was a lovely person. She was an educator too. They wanted her to go down to El Paso to teach Mexican kids for 1 year. They talked her into going for 1 year. No, Corpus Christi. And she said when I got down there, she said those kids would come in and they had purple and orange. She said I just cringed. You never knew what they were going to wear. All these wild colors that she was not used to. She stayed 9 years, and she said, you know, when I left there, purple and orange looked beautiful.
I bet.
She was
last week, so Easter night. We was all settled in. We didn't go to that house. They took the trash out. This is my parents' house. We all settled in.